Aya aya, Myaamia Nipwayona Kanangonji, Makunza Kwawains Waane, Nila Myaamikwia. Hi everyone, greetings from the Myaamia Center. My name is Kara Strauss, and I am the Director of Miami Tribe Relations at the Myaamia Center, and I'm also a citizen of the Miami Tribe of Oklahoma. I'm very excited to be partnering with Late Night Miami and the Native American Student Association to teach you a little bit about Pepangasha Pakakia Equataminge, or the art form known as Myaamia Ribbonwork. Today I'm going to give you a little bit of background information about both the Miami Tribe and our art form of ribbonwork. And then I'm going to work together with some students from the Native American Student Association to teach you how to do an activity that creates a paper bookmark that's inspired by our art form of ribbonwork. So to start with a little bit of background about the Miami Tribe, which I think is important to understand the relationship with Miami University, as well as the art form of ribbonwork, I want to start with this map, which is a map of the traditional homelands of the Myaamia people. That blue up at the top is Lake Michigan, and our homelands encompassed the entire states of Indiana and Illinois, the western half of Ohio, and a portion of both Wisconsin and Michigan. And so while this is a large area, it is not a nation state in the way that we think of nation states today. It was a shared landscape that we shared with many other tribal people. That red oval in the middle is our Heartlands, or where we had our permanent village sites along the Wabash River Valley. And that blue dot represents Oxford, which is located within the traditional homelands of the Myaamia people and is an important aspect of our relationship between the tribe and university. So you might ask yourself, if our traditional homelands was in what is today the Midwest, why are we the Miami Tribe of Oklahoma? And that is due to a history of two forced removals. The first removal happening in 1846, where Myaamia people were removed from their homelands, taken along the canal system and then by steamship out to what is today Kansas, where our first reservation was located. About a generation later, when Kansas becomes a state after the Civil War, this history repeats itself, and there's a second forced removal from Kansas to Indian Territory, which is today Oklahoma. If you look at a map of the state of Oklahoma today, you'll see that there are 49 different tribal nations located within the state. Many of these tribal nations were also forcibly relocated from their homelands in the eastern United States. And if we zoom in on the northeast corner of Oklahoma, where the Miami Tribe is headquartered, you'll see that Ottawa County has many different tribal nations located there. And several of these are tribes that were also located within our traditional homelands and whom we've had relationships with for as long as we can remember and continue to have relations with them today. So I want to tell you a little bit about the relationship between the Miami Tribe and Miami University. This relationship is really based on three things: a shared name, a shared place, and a shared goal of education. The name is the easiest: Miami Tribe and Miami University. Miami University was named for the Miami River Valley, which was named for the Miami Tribe. So we definitely think of this as having a shared name. A shared place, I showed you that Oxford is located within our traditional homelands, and it's important that for us this is located within a Myaamia place, as well as a shared goal for education. Myaamia students have been attending Miami University since 1991. We now have 95 graduates of the Myaamia Heritage Program, and there are 30 students currently enrolled at Miami University. A second outcome of this relationship is the Myaamia Center, which was founded in 2001, and it is focused on language and cultural revitalization. So the very brief history that I told you about forced removals, and then, there were forced assimilation practices, means that the Myaamia language and culture declined over time. And so what the Myaamia Center focuses on is bringing back that language and that culture, which includes things like Myaamia Ribbonwork, Pepongasha Pekakya Equataminge. So what is ribbonwork? It is the cutting, folding, sewing, and layering of ribbons to create intricate geometric designs. So on the left-hand side is actually the cover of a book that was created by the Myaamia Center to teach Myaamia people how to do this art form. But it had been many, many years that this art form was not practiced within our community. Nobody knew how to do it until we actually went back into the archives and were able to examine pieces that had been purchased out of the Myaamia community and were located within mostly museum archives, that we were able to kind of piece back together these understanding of how to do this art form of ribbon work. And then this book was created and sent out to Myaamia households to help them to learn about the art form, as well as learn how to practice it once again. So here's a photo of a really wonderful pair of moccasins or moccasina, and it can show you a little bit more about this art form. Each of those colored lines are a different ribbon, and then they're, again, cut, folded, sewn down, and then layered on top of each other to create these geometric designs. But when we went back into the archives, we didn't just learn about Myaamia ribbon work. We started to learn more about a Myaamia aesthetic by looking at pieces of art that predate ribbon work. And so here you can see a hide robe that's painted with the same types of geometric designs and colors that show up later in Myaamia ribbon work. Again, looking at a history of things like tattooing, we are able to see those geometric patterns were used across art forms within the Myaamia community even prior to the art form of ribbon work. And here is another piece of Myaamia art, a twined bag that is decorated with similar geometric designs. And so what we learned by going into the archives is not just how to do Myaamia ribbon work, but actually we found a better understanding of our Myaamia aesthetic, or what Myaamia people find beautiful. And that is mostly focused on geometric patterns that create these intricate designs, as well as common colors, red, black, and white being the most common. This is a piece of ribbon work that was actually on display at Miami University's Art Museum earlier in 2020. Unfortunately, this exhibit was impacted by the coronavirus and it was only open for a couple of months. But it's a wonderful example of Myaamia ribbon work on a pair of leggings and matching moccasins. And you can see the really intricate geometric designs closely on this pair. So I talked a little bit about the history of ribbon work, but what does it mean to us as a community today? It shows up on clothing for important events, on stoles that we give to our graduates of Miami University, on these game pads that you can see there at the top to play traditional Myaamia games. And a really interesting use of ribbon work is in the middle here, is the ribbon that holds up Miami University's presidential medal, which the president wears at important events. Myaamia ribbon work is something that is being revitalized within our community, being practiced again, It is an important way that we can express our identity as Myaamia people. And one of the main ways that we do that is by teaching ribbon work across our community. So this photo came from a ribbon work workshop that was put on a couple years ago at Miami University so that our students could be learning how to practice this art form as well. This is the Myaamia Heritage logo. Hopefully you've seen it around campus, but now that you've learned a little bit about ribbon work, I hope it looks familiar to you. It was inspired by the art form of ribbon work, but has a few differences, which I'll talk about in a minute. But each of the pieces of this design are packed full of meaning. The black diamond stands for a depth of time, cultural wisdom, and represents the Myaamia tribe. The right diamond stands for responsibility, sacrifice, shared knowledge, and represents Miami University. And then both of those sides come together in the white diamond in the middle that really represents collaboration. But the most important part of this logo is the red dot at the center, which represents fire. It's a symbol of warmth. You sit around a fire to create community. But a fire also has to be tended in order for it to not go out. So that red dot at the middle of the Myaamia Heritage logo reminds both sides of this relationship that we have to tend that fire in order for it to keep going. That dot is actually important for another reason. You've seen now a couple of pictures of Myaamia ribbon work, and you don't see those round designs in Myaamia ribbon work. And so it's an important piece that makes it very clearly not Myaamia ribbon work, and shows that this design was inspired by the art form instead of appropriating Myaamia designs. We love to share this information across campus and more broadly within our communities. And so one way that we've done that is by creating this paper ribbon work bookmark that is inspired by ribbon work designs. In fact, they are designs that come out of our ribbon work book. It's important to realize that this project is not doing ribbon work, but instead teaches you about it, and you have a better understanding of this art form. And the Native American Student Association has been important in this process and shares how to do this ribbon work bookmark across campus at events like this, Art After Dark, usually at least once each semester. And so I'm really excited that we'll be able to teach you how to do this, how you can learn more about the process of Myaamia ribbon work by creating your own bookmark. So, Isha Linatawe, let's do it together.
Hi, I'm Joshua McCoy.
And I'm Gretchen Sven.
And we're the leadership of the Native American Student Association here at Miami University. We are creating a paper bookmark that is inspired by Myaamia ribbon work. This is the design that was used to create the Myaamia Heritage logo. Today we'll show you how to create your own at home. This is what your completed project will look like. These are the materials that you will receive. You will also need scissors. The first step is to cut out the 8 pieces as carefully as possible. It will then look like this. Then take a red ribbon and glue it down towards the center of the black backing. From there, you will take a black ribbon, glue it down, overlapping the red ribbon, creating your first set of geometric patterns. You will then take a white ribbon, overlap it with the black ribbon, and create your second geometric pattern, and glue that down. Lastly, you will take another black ribbon and glue it down over top of the white ribbon, creating your last set of geometric patterns. You will then do this the same way on the opposite side.
The last step of this project is to cut around the edges to give your bookmark a finished look.
We hope you've enjoyed learning about Myaamia Ribbonwork and creating your own bookmark with us.
Mewalikate!
See you later!